Help. Get out. Get out. Okay, everyone, where are you? Where is everyone? Wow, no one's here. Okay, where is everyone? Where is everyone? Hey, Sean. How are you, friend? Hey, sis. What's going on? I'm like, where is everybody? I said I wish I had done StreamYard so you could have come up. Hold on, give me a second. Sorry, I had to make sure I unlock the screen door so that Lonnie can just come in when he gets off. Hey, welcome in. I didn't see who came in. I was trying to make sure my screen door was unlocked. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am tired, Sean. I've been working all day. That's why I had told you, that's why I missed your message, because I had literally been standing on my feet making products all day, and I'm exhausted. So here's just 3 I hadn't put up yet. I haven't put the labels on them yet, but so here it is, X on the beach. X on the beach. When I tell you, so welcome in Rachel Ray. Hey, DKC Crafts LLC. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Rachel Ray has a saying that she used to always say when she was on TV, and she always used to say she can't wait for the day that they have smell-o-vision. I can't wait either, because if you could smell X on the beach, yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot of Xing when y'all get that one. Hold on, my cord came undone. It smells, the fragrance smells almost as if it has pheromones in it, which is kind of interesting. So I know y'all see I'm in a different location today. That's because I needed to sit for a little bit, so I decided to kind of move everything around in my dining room today and sit in my kitchen. The garage is 95% done. I was actually going to go live in the garage today, but unfortunately, one of the ring lights went out, and I'm like, really? And it's not it's not enough light in there. So unfortunately, it just was just too dark for me to go in there. So I need to get another ring light, and my backdrop still hasn't come yet. And then here is watermelon, and it has poppy seeds in there for the representation of the seeds. And here is pineapple. Now I will tell you that so far, this is probably my favorite. I also have made the peach. I just don't have it with me right now. And welcome in. And I haven't made the mango papaya yet. But when I tell you they smell amazing, I'm really amazed at. Oops, let me turn this down. How good they smell. But yeah, so how are y'all doing today? I'm going to wait a few more minutes to see who else is going to come in before I get started. Get out. Get out. I'm not gonna tell you, get out. Sorry, y'all. I'm not used to actually having to do soap and with my puppy around. I'm used to being in a closed location, but now everything is open. So typically I wouldn't be doing any live around children and pets because it can be very dangerous. But how are y'all doing today? Hope everything all is well. Forgive me, I did wipe off my eyebrows because I was just so hot, and yeah, it's really hot here today. But we're gonna work on, like I said, a bar soap. I was gonna do oatmeal and honey. I changed my mind in putting the honey in. Right now I'm only gonna just do the oatmeal soap because this bar soap is for my grandbaby, and it's gonna go on the market. So since this first batch is gonna be for her, I didn't want to give her honey because typically you don't give babies or children under the age of 2 honey. Now that is not something that we do in our community. However, just to be on the safe side, and I know some people don't like honey, like Sean, but I am going to make I am going to offer a honey and oatmeal soap. When I used to make it before, it was very popular amongst my eczema and psoriasis customers when I was making soap, bar soap a lot. So I am going to go back to making the honey. So I will be doing that, but I'll do that the next batch. I'll probably do that tomorrow off camera. But for this bar soap, when I thought about it, I was like, no, I cannot put honey in that soap for her. I had to really think about it, so no. But we're going to get started. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab the oatmeal. All right, and I'm gonna give y'all some tips and tricks. Yeah, turmeric soap was also one of my popular soaps. Of course, I'm gonna put that back on because I have the turmeric sugar scrub. So someone even asked me for a turmeric body butter, but I was like, I don't think that's a good idea because it will stain. But I am going to do a bar soap. And that's it. I'm not going to do any body butters or anything of that nature. So, but we're going to go ahead and get started. And whoever trickles in, trickles in. Again, for those of you who are new, my name is Kim. I am the owner of Copper Hue Collections. I've been making cosmetics now since 2014. Originally, my business, and it is still on Google. I've actually been trying to get it off of Google, but hi, Mrs. G, how are you? Mrs. Karen G, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you. And so it started off as Indulgence Bath and Cosmetics is the original business name. And I started making cosmetics simply for myself and my household, and then it trickled down into family and friends wanting to purchase. And so I would sell to family, friends, people in the church, people at work, things of that nature. And I did really, really well. Honestly speaking, probably I could have actually went part-time at work and did this part-time. But you know how it is when you're a single mother at that time, you're comfortable with that consistent paycheck, that paycheck that's coming in every week. You don't want to give that up because, you become afraid, like, what happens if I turn around and then lose my or the customers don't come in, the sales don't come in, and then I only have a part-time job. So, that was kind of like my fear. Had I been married back then, 2012 is when I started, 12. We had just gotten married later. No, I'm great, just getting started. I'm just getting started. And so, but, I still also had my own house. I lived in Delaware. I still own my own house. And my husband at the time was in Chicago because he was actually living in Chicago, although he's from Philly, when we actually met. So I was traveling back and forth, and it was all, it was just so many things. But here comes 2018, And my son is diagnosed with a terminal illness that was drying out his skin. And, so then, he came to me, he's like, Mom, I'm in a lot of pain. My skin is peeling, it's hurting. I really need something. So, as a mother, you don't care how old your child is. So now it's my responsibility to come out and formulate something that's going to work with him. So in the beginning, I was only making toothpaste, deodorant, and bar soaps. I'm sorry, and bath salts. That's it at that time. And I was doing my own laundry soaps and things of that nature. But no other cosmetics. And so because of my son needing this lotion to moisturize his skin, I ended up coming up with this formula, and he absolutely loved it. He put his stamp of approval on it. He's like, okay, Mom, now it's time for you to make this a full-time business. And so my son is the one that really started pushing me into turning this into a business, because he could not believe, out of all the store-bought soaps that he had purchased, this was the only one where he can use the bathroom at work, wash his hands, and his hands will still feel moisturized from the lotion that he had on prior to. So that's really what made this become a business. And that's why I birthed Indulgence Bath and Cosmetics. But then I eventually started working with a cosmetic chemist. I was getting ready to go to school to be a chemist, and then my husband took the job here in South Carolina, and that kind of put everything on hold. But I do still work with a cosmetic chemist. I work with her closely. I help her, I pay her to help me formulate and things of that nature until I'll start back up and going to school myself. But during the pandemic is when I decided to rebrand during the move to South Carolina, I decided to rebrand my business. And since I wasn't going to be able to run it for that time being, and that's when I rebranded to Copy Hue Collections, because I started focusing more on the melanin in our skin, because anything that's on the stores, it's marketed to us, but if you read the ingredients in the label, it's still not really for us. And that's where Copy Hue Collections come from. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So today, as I stated, we're going to make an oatmeal soap. This soap is going to not have any fragrance in it and not have any colorant in it. As I stated, it's because it's going to be for my granddaughter. And so I want to keep it as natural as possible. But there will be a bar on the website that's going to have oatmeal in it, without oatmeal, and it's going to have, the oatmeal honey scent. But for today, it's going to be unscented and no color. But the other bars will not have color as well. So bear with me. I'm going to try to turn this iPad down so you can see what I'm doing, and we can talk about it. Don't mind the box in the back. I got a big shipment in the mail, and I had not taken it to the garage yet. So don't mind me. Sean, you know what to do. Can you monitor those comments, please? So let me go ahead and try to turn you down. All right, so I am going to do what is called a cold process soap. And what that means is there's no heat that's going to be going into the soap. What I did was I already measured out my, y'all, I think I took my respirator over to the garage by accident. I think I did. Don't mind my mess on the table if you can see it. Thank goodness I kept this over here because of the other products I was using earlier today. But first things first, you always want to try to soak away from children and pets if possible. Secondly, you always want to soak in a well-ventilated area. I have my windows open. My back door is open, and I have windows over there open so that circulation can get through here. Third of all, you absolutely, unequivocally, need protective gear. Now, typically, I wear a respirator because I do have asthma. It has the 3M filters in it. And you always want to use some form of gloves. And I always wear eyewear because when you're steering your lye solution, you never know when any of that can just pop up into your eyes. And this only takes one drop to get into your eye, and that eye will be blinded. So I may look crazy, but I always, without a shadow of a doubt, always wear protective gear. Now, the other thing is, there are some things some people I like to use humidifier, and I also like to use a purifier. Those are out in the garage. I didn't bring them in because I ventilated my house very well. I got air coming across me, so it's kind of ventilated very well. However, do not, and I repeat, do not soap with vinyl gloves. These will not protect you. Lye will eat through these things. You need something heavy duty. These are regular kitchen gloves. They work because they have multiple layers. I see people soaking with those all the time. You can put them on once the lye has been neutralized, and you can take them off then and wear them then. But when you're mixing that lye, please, 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 please make sure you have your your protective gear on. And so I always make sure that I always have my protective gear on. Sorry, y'all, because I need to put my butchercomb on right quick. As always, anyone who's been following me for a while, and welcome back. It's going to be a little difficult to hear me in a minute, but give me a moment. I'm going to put this on and I'll speak up a little louder. But I always sanitize everything. Of course, with my bleaching water solution. And then I go over it again with alcohol. All right. So, and I'm going to try to bring you down a little bit more. This is feeling not comfortable. Hopefully that stays on my ear. Nope. All right. Welcome in, whoever just came in. Please like the live, share, turn on your notification bell so you can be notified when I go live or put up videos. All right. Let me go ahead and try to turn you down. Don't pay attention to my mess in the back. I was juicing for like darn near 20 hours, and I got stuff everywhere. I got a bunch of mess over there from me working and throwing stuff in the trash. And please, please, please don't pay attention to my junk. All right. Can y'all see that well? All right. So in order to soak, oh God, that looks so crazy. Please forgive my mess because my house don't usually look like this. Don't let nobody tell you that you can make soap without using lye. Hi, welcome in, Gina. Thank you for joining me today. You absolutely have to have lye. Any bar soaps that you buy from the store also had lye in it in order to make it. What happens is that once you mix your lye solution and put it into your oils and butters and things of that nature, after or during the curing process, and we'll talk about that a little bit more too, during your curing process, the lye will go, it will dissipate, and so will the water in your soap. So you unequivocally have to have lye in order to make soap. Now, there are two types of lye, and hold on. You have KOH and NOH. This NOH is for bar soap, and KOH is for liquid soap. All right. Now, like I say, you have to. It is simply nothing but a drainer. It is the same ingredients that you pour down your tub and your sink, which is why they tell you then when you use it to use protective gear, which most people don't read the labels, but you're always supposed to use protective gear. Also, when we're soaping, we're always going to pour the lye into the water, not the water into the lye, because if in doing so, you will have a volcano. Now, before I do that, I want to talk about just really quickly about a couple of additives. Now, a couple of additives I am going to use is salt and sugar. And I always add that to my lye solution. And let me explain to you why. When you're making soap, there are certain solutions you can have where that solution can be, that certain solution can have too many oils and not enough hard butters, or oils and butters that actually don't produce a bubble, bubbles in your soap. So one way that you can fix the softness of your soap And the hardness of, the hardness of your soap and the non-bubbly is to add salt and sugar. That is the perfect way to add to your recipe. Now that doesn't have to go in a soap calculator, and I'm not going to show that today. If you want to see how to formulate your own bar soap, just drop it in the comments, and I can do a live one day where we can show you how to. I can show you how to formulate and how to get a good bar if you want to start making your own soaps as well. However, like I said, there's certain additives. There's sodium lactate you can add. There's different solutions that you can add to make your soaps harder and have more bubbles. So for my recipe, it's going to be a hard bar because I use a little bit more hard butters, and that's because butters are better for the skin, and butters is nothing but hard oils. But the butters that I'm using, and I'll tell you about them in a moment, they're a little bit better, and so it's going to make for a harder bar. However, my bubbles are going to be a little bit minimum, and the reason being is because the oils that I'm using do not produce a lot of bubbles. Now, let me explain this to you, because a lot of people think bubbles is cleansing. Bubble does not mean cleansing. Bubbles is simply an aesthetic. That's it. It has no cleansing power to it whatsoever. It is simply an aesthetic. It is aesthetic look, and that's it. Because somewhere in the chemistry culture, they felt like bubbles added to the way soap looks. But back in the day when our ancestors were making soap, they were making soap just using olive oil, and olive oil produces not one bubble. So just keep in mind what you're using when you're formulating. And again, like I said, if you want a live showing you how to formulate, just let me know in the comments. So, all right. Also, you never want to use metal. I see people all the time using metal. It is so dangerous because metal reacts to the lye. So you want to use something like this. Now, I always use the back of this, and whatever utensils you use for your soap, you absolutely cannot use it to cook, because those chemicals do not leave your products. Even if you wash it, it's going to get into your food. That is number one, safety. All right, let's get started. Now, typically when you're doing this, you want your lye solution and your butters to be at the same temperature. Well, for me, I want my lye solution to melt my butters today, so I'm not. So if I wanted that to happen, I would have actually let this cool down prior to. Now, so I like to pour in slowly and mix a little at a time. I'm sorry, y'all. A little at a time. Please bear with me because I am not good when it comes to the recording portion. I'm not good at this part. And you'll see and feel that your lye solution is going to heat up. It actually will heat up almost to 200 degrees, which is another reason why you want to do this in a well-ventilated area. Now, if you're making liquid soap, you'll actually see the fumes coming up. Bar soap, not so much. Liquid soap, yes. You would definitely see it coming up. All right. So we do have to stir this until it is completely mixed up. How you know it's completely mixed? Oh, thank you, Gina. How you know it's completely mixed is you won't feel this. You'll feel the lye crystals. You won't feel the lye crystals anymore. So that's how you know. See, and it's getting hot now, and I can feel it. Now, what I like to do, and here's my butters. What I like to do is I like to use a strainer. This strainer is only used for soaping. And what I like to do is I like to strain my lye solution only because there are sometimes some chunks that do not dissolve, especially if you're adding sugar and salt. So here today, what I have in my bar soap, I have olive oil, coconut oil, hemp, cocoa butter, papaya seed, mango seed, castor, and palm. And we're going to talk a little bit about palm, because some people get afraid when you hear palm. So I'm just going to carefully, slowly pour this in. Ooh, this is hot. And what you can use, you always want to use either metal. Not metal. You always want see how I have crisp. Oh shoot, it's hot. See how I have some that didn't dissolve? That's some of the sugar that didn't dissolve. These typically we're interesting because it typically do not heat up. You can use paint buckets from like Home Depot and Lowe's. You can use things like that, but you definitely want a heavy duty soaping. A heavy duty plastic, because you do not want the lye to eat through the plastic. You do not want to be sitting there. You don't want to be sitting there stirring up lye. And once you're stirring up lye, I'm not gonna take this off now. Once you're stirring up lye, for it to melt all over the place, you don't want to burn yourself, and you darn sure don't want to get it all over the place or anybody else that may be around. So I'm just using my hot lye to melt my butters. Cocoa butter is a little bit harder. I probably should have melted that a little bit. But I did not want to heat up any of the oils, because if your oils are too hot to the temperature of your lye, then you will have a volcano once that lye hits the oils. So the best thing to do is just be patient and allow your lye to either cool down or just use your lye to melt your butters. Now, I am using one of the things I like the best is palm oil. Now, palm oil, as I explained to you, is a hard oil. And the reason why I use palm oil is because it is really great for the skin. Palm oil is actually almost equivalent to a shea butter. Now, the reason why people have shied away over the years from palm oil, it was simply because palm oil was not being ethically sourced. So what that means is that palm oil comes from over on the continent of Africa. And basically the people that were sourcing palm oil was almost like sweatshops. And so the conditions were horrible. They weren't getting paid, and they was using children. And so when I learned of this years ago, I started doing my research, because I always used to use palm oil, and I used to like red palm oil for cooking. And so what I did is I started doing my research, and I learned that there is a company called Essential Depot. It was where I get my lye and other solutions for soaping from. And what happens is that they jumped on board and got a membership, became partners and affiliates with a company in Africa to ethnically source their palm oil. So my palm oil, and I didn't have any more left, I used the rest of it, and I think I already threw the bottle away. But it comes just like this as well, just as palm oil, that's all. And so to my knowledge, Essential Depot is the only company to this day that ethnically sources their palm oil. So I always make sure that on my labels, I let people know that it is ethnically sourced, because you will have customers who know about this atrocity that was taking place for so many years. Yeah, Sean, it was bad. It just was so bad. It was so sad. But there were people who was finding out about it, and customers, and they will not buy from you if you're not letting them know that your products are ethnically sourced. Listen, you can forget it. They will not buy any products from you. So I'm going to take this off for just one moment, and because I got something on my lip from me wiping on my arm. But anyway, but palm oil is really good for the skin. It actually will help reduce the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles. It actually brings in collagen and elasticity back into the skin. So I absolutely love palm oil. However, one of the most important things you need a stick blender. You cannot use a hand blender for this process. It has to be a stick blender. A stick blender is called an emulsifier blender. What it does, it emulsifies your products, meaning it binds anything that you're putting there together. You can even use a stick blender if you don't have a juicer to make juices. But I have one specifically for lotion that I cannot use on soaping and I cannot use this to make lotion. So I have two different ones. There are two different colors to make sure that I do not cross them, because I absolutely cannot use this one for lotion. It can only welcome in. I see a few more people have come in. Please say hello. Don't listen from the outside or from the playground. Just come in and say hi. Please like the live, share it, subscribe, turn your notification bell on so you'll be notified when I go live again. Right now, I am going to be making oatmeal soap. Now, you absolutely cannot. If you make other products, you do need to immerse in blenders. All right, let me grab my oatmeal right quick, you guys. Now, what I've also done is to let you know, I make my own glycerins. Here is my oatmeal, oat glycerin, and here is my calendula glycerin. And what I do is I make those, I let them sit 4 to 6 weeks, and then I use them in my products. So I already put everything I needed in my oils before I started, to keep the live from being extremely too long. Hi, Soini, how are you today? I hadn't seen, I didn't see you on Sean's live. And see how that cocoa butter, now, cocoa butter is the hardest butter there is, really. One of the hardest butters. And you see how hot that lye is? It's only that small little piece. I don't know if y'all can see it as it goes back around. That small little piece, it's almost melted. But right now, at this point, I am going to go ahead and stick blend. Now, we're going to stick blend until we get what is called a trace. Now, a trace is when you get to the point of, and I'm going to add my oatmeal in first before I stick blend. Trace is, and all I did was take some oats, and I ground them. I use this steel cut, because steel cut is at its natural state and not that Quaker oatmeal stuff. You do not use that stuff, y'all. Don't do your customers like that if you're going to make soap. But it's you don't want to use that Quaker oat, but you do want to use, I like Bob's red meal. To me, Bob's have the best. When it comes to a lot of products, I am a Bob's red meal person. It's something I actually grew up on, and it's still, to me, better source. I don't know if you know, Quaker Oats actually is sprayed. They spray anything that is made by Quaker. They spray their grains and their oats and things of that nature to preserve them. So just a FYI. But again, in here, I have my coconut oil, my olive oil. We know what coconut oil does for the skin. You just don't want to, you don't want to use too much coconut oil in other products. But this is the product where you can use more coconut oil than anything, because coconut oil can be drying on everybody's skin. But in bar soap, it is a good soap. You just do not want to use an all coconut oil soap, because that will be drying. The hemp oil, all my base products have hemp oil. My company is built off of hemp oil, because the benefits that it has for the skin. And if you want to know what those benefits are, I do have a video where I talked about that in full. And castor oil. Castor oil is a really good product also to help draw moisture from the air into the skin, like glycerin. As well as, sorry, something to my eye, y'all. As well as it actually aids in the hardness of your bar and adds bubbles. So whenever you're going to stick blend, what you want to do is what is called burping. You want to burp your batter. And this is called a batter. And all you do is you take your stick blender and pulse it a few times without turning it on. And that way you're burping it. That means you're getting rid of all the air bubbles. And then you want to go ahead and blend. And we're going to blend till we get a trace. So it is going to be a little loud, because I am on a stainless steel table. So it's going to be a little loud. I always start with a few pulses.
That sounds good.
I'm on live and you scared. Sorry, y'all. My neighbor scared the daylights out of me, y'all. Oh my God. I'm doing a live. I'm doing a tutorial. How are you? Bella, calm down. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. Calm down. All right. Let me get back to it. Sorry, you guys.
You should have seen your face.
I know. I ain't got my sniff. Come on, get off. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. I ain't got my sniffing Western with me, y'all, either. So it's a good thing. Calm down, baby. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Go back. Go back. Go back. It's okay. I told y'all my windows are open. Anyway, so Bella, go back. I tell you, boy. So we're gonna continue to trade. Ooh, thank goodness I ain't got my Smith and Wesson with me, y'all. Cause both of them, their cousins are usually by my side, even when I'm in the house. We're gonna go ahead and trade. He said my live sounds good. I'm gonna try to put a towel underneath here to try to mutter some of this sound. He said my live sound good, y'all. That is crazy. And I'm not gonna edit this part. I'm gonna leave it because it's hilarious. Trace. Trace simply means is that how you know when you're coming to trace when you're making soap, and you don't have to constantly run your stick blender. Because what we're doing is we're binding the lye and water solution to the oils. How you're gonna know when you're coming to trace is because it's gonna stick to the back of your blender. It is gonna take some time. Sorry, y'all. This is the loud part. And you'll see it in a minute. Remember, there's no. Exactly. Listen, she knows. Look, and she only like 9. Oh no, she's like what? 11 pounds now. I think she don't play. You think she a big dog? You would think she is a big dog. She don't play. She doesn't play. And it's so funny, y'all, because I actually don't open my dining room window. That's weird. I normally open every window in the house but that dining room window. And it's because there is a throughway. Because we live in detached homes. And there's a throughway because you can have a fence in the backyard, but you can't have one on the side and in the front. And I don't know if you can see it's getting thicker. It's getting thicker. I always tell people stir as well because you don't want to burn your stick blender out. Listen, she ain't playing. She still keep going over to the window. I would have normally kicked her out, but I'm like, I'm gonna leave her alone. All right, you're gonna see this in a minute. So it's almost there. It's not quite there. And typically I would make larger batches, but because I've decided not to scent this one, I've decided to make a small batch. Also, when you're washing out your equipment, please never wash your equipment that you're using to soap with your dishes. Always wash it separately. We're almost there, y'all. So as you can see, it's gotten a little thicker. It's almost there. Typically, it takes about a good 10 minutes, as long as you're not using a bunch of soft oil. And the reason why I wanted to do this live, even though this is loud, I wanted you guys to see the full process. And oftentimes people don't understand what goes into soap making. Because a lot of times, a lot of these small soap owners or soap businesses, and not to knock them, a lot of them are making what is called melt and pour, which is why they're able to make the soap and sell it right away. It takes 4 to 6 weeks for a soap to be available. So this particular formulation, what I did was, because I heard some birdie on the live right now say 6 weeks. So dang, that thing fell over. 6 weeks. So I made sure I formulated this that it would be ready in 4 weeks. So in 4 weeks, this soap would be available. I absolutely unequivocally cannot sell this soap before 4 weeks, because if in the event I do, and if you see it's getting there, it's almost like pudding. You wanted to get to that pudding stage. And I don't have my, what you call them anymore, thank goodness. I don't have my apron because when we moved, they broke some of my essential oil bottles, and unfortunately my apron was in there because I made soap right before we left, and it destroyed my apron. All right, we're at Trace. Now, see how the soap is staying on the back of my stick blender? That's what you want. If your soap is not staying on the back of your stick blender, that means it's not working. Also, yep, that's it. So we're at Trace. If you see, we're at what is called the pudding phase. This is where you want to be. This is how you know all of your oils and butters are incorporated, and all of the lye and the lye solution is blended, is well blended. We have now made soap. At this particular stage right now, this is soap. It's just in its liquefied form. Now, there is also liquid soap that I make as well. I make my own liquid soap. I use it to make I make a base soap, and I use that base soap to make all other soaps in my house. I use it to make my dish soap, my laundry soap, and my cleaning soap. So I make a base, and then it's what you put in after you make that base is what actually determines what type of soap it's going to be. That base also can even be used for a body wash as well. But it is now done. We now have soap. Huh, Sean? Oh, she's on the shorts live, so she... Oh, really? Am I showing? I didn't know that. I don't know how that happened then. Oh, I mean, I have likes. I do see likes. I'm not sure how that happened. So see how it looks like pudding? This is what you want. You want it to look like, and see how you don't see any oil floating on the top or anything like that? That's exactly what you want. No oils floating on the top. If there's oils floating on the top, that means that you are not done stick blending. So what I'm going to do is, and also you want to keep some alcohol near you, and I'm going to tell you why as well. So this is a 38 ounce mold. I have multiple mold sizes, and I am going to put a little bit in here. This is individual soap molds, and usually I use this for like when I'm going to do shows and things of that nature. And so instead of people picking up all of the soaps and putting their hands on it, I'll make that same scent in a sample bar like this, and this is the bar that the customers can pick up. However, since I do need I need a portion of this to be out for my granddaughter, I'm going to put her bar in here because she actually at this moment only really needs one bar of soap. So I'm going to go ahead and pour. Now also, to let you know, if you was going to add colorants, if you were going to add botanicals and things of that nature, this is the stage where, well, right before the stage, you don't technically want to get this thick. Before it gets to trace, right before it gets to trace, is when you want to add your colorants. If you were going to add multiple colorants, that's where you would split your batter so that you can add the colorants. Because once it gets to the stage, the more you stick blend, the thicker it's going to get, and the harder it's going to be to get into the mold. But because this is unscented and no color, we're just going to go right ahead and pour. And it should pour that easy. That easy. These bars, if I remember correctly, now don't quote me y'all because it has been a long time. If I remember correctly, these bars are approximately 4 ounce bars. Typically I will use my big mold And you also want to always, oh, sorry, my phone fell over. Tap it, because you also want to release any air bubbles that's all within the soap. What I like to do after I put my soap in, spray it with a little bit of alcohol. It's not going to do anything. What that does is it keeps what is called soda ash off the top of your soap. Typically, I would take this soap and texture it, which I probably will in a moment. If you give me, I gotta let it set up a little bit, and I'll show you what texturing is. And I'll add a little bit of oatmeal to it. I didn't think about that before. I should have. Normally, I would add some oatmeal to it on the top. But let me go ahead and fill this up now. But that's where you want to add your, that's where you want to add any colorants and your fragrance as well. You want to add your fragrance before you come to trace. Hold on, y'all. Do y'all have any questions? And if you want to see how to make liquid soap, it's similar. The process is almost similar. However, that actually has an extra step. So that live would actually have to be a 2-part live. It's just no way around that. It definitely has to be a 2-part live. I'm going to put the rest in here because there's 2 steps to that. There's definitely 2 steps to making liquid soap. So if you want to see how to make liquid soap, how to make a base liquid soap, so that you want to start making your own, because you have to think about this. One of the reasons why I went natural, and I'll tell you this, I didn't actually tell you this. One of the reasons why I went natural is because I just was, reflecting, meditating, and things of that nature. And I started thinking about how, unhealthy my parents was at my age at that time. And at the time I was in my 40s. And so I was like, you know what? I don't want to be like them. And so one day I was just sitting home, and I decided to start reading labels. My oldest daughter, she's a diabetic, and so I just wanted to start reading labels. And when I started reading labels and doing my own research, I noticed that deodorants are the reason why women have breast cancer. It's not nothing else. It's simply the deodorant. It literally is the deodorant, because I don't know if you know, the lymph nodes in the breast are under the underarms. They're not, they're under the underarms, and they connect to the breast. And a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that. And so when I learned that the deodorants clog up your underarms, and that's what actually causes the bacteria to grow and for you to have cancer. Give me 1 second, you guys. So I did, and I do use my dishwasher for my stuff, but I use it separately, as I stated. Let me move this out the way. Now, the soap is not, if you accidentally get a little bit on your hands, what you want to do immediately is you want to wipe it off and put some alcohol on it, because that neutralizes it. If you get lye on you, you don't have to scream and holler and think, oh my God, I'm going to die, it's going to eat through my skin and stuff like that. No. Put some alcohol, not rubbing alcohol, but 90% alcohol, or 70, at least 70 and above. Put that on your skin. Try to saturate your skin. That neutralizes the lye so that it won't eat through your skin. So that's all you have to do. Let me see. Is it set up? Oh, it is. Let me put you back down. I'm sorry, guys. It went faster than I thought. I'm sorry. I thought it was going to take a minute. So what I like to do, and I think, Soini, you asked me a question. Give me 1 moment and I'll answer that question. All right. Give me a second. Because that actually happened faster than I expected. Normally it takes a little longer. Sorry, guys. I was trying to get back to my comments because it fell over. All right. It said your comment was hitting. So what I like to do is, and this is a spoon that oh, y'all, my doggone trash back there is irritating the heck out of me. Sorry, y'all. I always take a spoon, like I said, spoons that you do not eat with, and I like to texture my soap. And all you do is you just do whatever. Get out of here, Bella. Nope, it's not there yet. It's not ready. It's too gelatized. I just like to really take and move it on. It's not really there yet. It did get a little hard, but it's not there. Still a little soft. I just like to lightly texture my soaps, and then I'll sprinkle a little bit of oatmeal on it. Plus, that also lets me know when I am packaging up my soap that it's the oatmeal soap as well. Because remember, it's not scented or colored, so it is going to be a little difficult for me to see it. Now, usually my molds are flat on the sides, and I can label it. I normally label it with the date. Yeah, it's not quite there yet. I normally label it with the date as well as what it is, but this mold doesn't have that. But it's not ready to be textured. I thought it was. However, like I said, this soap will also be ready in about 4 to 6 weeks. So, Amy, you asked me a question, and because, wait, I didn't time out. Mrs. Karen G. Do y'all know what happened? It says I timed her out, Sean. Do you know what happened? And it says I deleted a message. That all must have happened when my phone fell over. I do apologize. Oh, man. I wonder if I did that when my doggone phone fell over. Oh, my goodness. I hope it did not do that. I think Soini was asking me a comment about my molds. I do apologize, you guys. I think that's what happened. Let me try to take a quick look because I do want you to ask questions. Shoot, Sean, do you have access to it? I don't know what I did. When my phone fell over, I apologize, you guys. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. Account. I don't know. I don't even see the comments. Oh, live chat. Hold on. Oh, okay. It should be good now. Can somebody type something now and see if they can type something? Oh, okay. I knew someone asked the question about a mold. I seen really quickly. Yes, you definitely want to fill the mold to the top, because if you don't, you're not really giving your customers the full a full bar of soap. So you want to fill it with your batter to the very top of your mold. Once you finish filling your mold, so I also make soaps for embed, and I meant to bring a bar of soap over here so y'all can see it, because I actually have soaps that I made last year. I was going to show you my Valentine's, and I did do a Black History. Although I don't identify as Black or celebrate anything Black of the nature, because I don't know if you know, Black means civil martus. It means you're dead in law. It means every time you identify with Black, you're telling the government that you're unalive, you're not alive, you know, you're not a living being. So that's why I teach the importance of doing your genealogy and finding out who your tribe is, because 95% of us in this country that are melanated people did not come from Africa or anywhere else unless it's the Caribbean. And so, so I try not to celebrate anything Black, but I do get that money when it comes to it. Like I said, I ain't no fool. However, I did make a Black History soap last year that did really, really well. And it was so interesting. And like I said, I wish we had the ability to smell through the screens, because I'm so surprised. I can still smell it as if I really just made it. It smells amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. And it's because there is there's a way to keep your soap smelling really, really good over a long period of time, because what happens is naturally the scent will dissipate. So when we make soaps, we do tell you, yes, I wish we had smell-o-vision. We do tell you to use your bar soaps within a certain time frame, unless you're using it for decoration. So like my Valentine's Day soap last year, my youngest daughter, one just had a baby, she wouldn't use it. She said it was too pretty to use. So she actually decorated her bathroom in pink and red, and she had a basket and was sitting in the basket, and she refused to use the soap. She brought the soap just to use it. She bought several bars just to sit in her bathroom, just to use it. Sat on the sink, and you knew not to use it. Actually, she didn't take the wrapper off. I actually do use my bar soaps. I do always usually keep a bar for myself. My husband doesn't like bar soaps. He like liquid soap, so body wash, so I make him body wash. Your scents in your soaps should last you no less than 6 months. If your soap is not lasting at least 6 months, then there could be several reasons. One, you may not be using the right percentages. Two, you could be using some butters and oils that are overpowering that scent. So for example, like cocoa butter. Everybody knows cocoa butter smells like chocolate, and it will overpower any fragrance that you use if you're not using coffee. So if you think you're going to use, let's say, lavender, and you got cocoa butter in your product, oh, that cocoa butter is going to overpower that lavender. Actually, I just had a young lady, and the reason why I used that scent for a reason, because I had a young lady reach out to me today, which was surprising because I hadn't been in the Black Soapers group in over a year. And so, but she seen that I was going live. And so she asked me why was her lavender soap not smelling good. So I asked her what was the butters and oils that she was using. And then that's when she told me that she was using cocoa butter, and she was using it at such a high percentage. So you can use cocoa butter in your formulas with fragrances, but if you're using it in a fragrance outside of like coffee or chocolate, you most definitely want to make sure that you are using a smaller percentage of the cocoa butter, because that cocoa butter is going to overpower the scent of your fragrance, especially something like lavender. Lavender is one of those ones that's definitely do, and it also clashes with lemon. I don't know why people do it, but it definitely clashes with lemon. Right now I am putting my oaks on. I'm not going to put you back down again. I am putting some of my oaks on for decoration. And if whatever botanicals that you choose to use, you want to spray your soap again. Whether it's oatmeal, whether it's roses, chamomile, calendula, whatever you're using, you want to spray your soap again. For one, that wets the botanicals and the oats, and it makes it stick to the soap. Now, when you take a bath, those botanicals are going to fall off. Let's be honest, they're going to fall off. Some of them are, some of them aren't, but the more you use it, the more they're going to fall off. It's more for aesthetic sake. But oatmeal and most botanicals will not clog drains, which is why we're allowed to use it in the world of soaping. Now, one thing I want to talk about really quickly before we get off of here. You know, it's interesting. So Eni, I am not a fan of coconut oil either. That is so interesting to say that. But originally I did not start out using it, and it's really because I didn't like it. But I had to look at, I'm not the customer. And so I'm like, man, however, if you don't want to use coconut oil, it depends on what you're using it for. Like, say, give me an example what you would want to use that replacement coconut oil for. Tell me what you would want to use it for. If Mrs. G is still in here, Mrs. Karen, I am so sorry. I thought I did it. I don't know if I did. I got to go back and look and see what I did wrong, because I don't see her in here. I mean, I see her in here. I guess she's still in here, but I don't see her commenting. And I am so sorry. It had to have done something when my phone failed. But you can use almost anything, to be completely honest. Apricot oil is a good substitute for coconut oil, but it just depends. So it depends on what you're really looking for. Coconut oil, like I said, is drying to the skin. So I use coconut oil at a higher percentage when I'm making eczema lotion. I do have an eczema lotion that I make that I got to get back on the website. I use a higher percentage of coconut oil in that. Reason being is because it's drying. and that's what you want. You want it to dry out, whatever you have. Now I have eczema. I don't know if you can see this little mark. I've only ever had it on my hands, but this is the first time I ever had it. Right here. Normally I will have it on a couple of my fingers, but as you can see, it always goes away. But for some reason, this one, when it broke out, it never went away. It's still a little dry patch. However, all I did was every day I rubbed coconut oil on it with a couple of my essential oils, and it dried it out. So coconut oil is very dry, and if you have a scar, coconut oil is good for rubbing it on a scar. It is drying on his hair and his skin, and I do hate that. Now, it is not in my hair care products. It's not in my hair growth oil, and it is not in my shampoo or conditioner. And reason being is because we've been taught as melanated people that coconut oil is good for our skin. Actually, that is absolutely incorrect. It is very drying, and it's sad because. Okay, good. Because it said that I'm muted. It said that I deleted your comments. Hold on, I didn't see that comment. Let's see. Sorry. What did you say? Oh, hold on. Sorry, you guys. You answer the question if you, okay, yeah, okay, great. But it's definitely drying to the skin. And you can actually tell a lot of our people who actually use coconut oil because you can see their skin and how dry it is. It is very drying. But if you're using it for the purpose of drying certain things, it is very good. If you got a scar, it is very good for that because it will dry up that scar and help heal it. Because it does have healing properties. It is a medicinal oil, but it's not an oil to be using, on a very consistent basis. Now, I did start putting it in my my body washes. Reason being is, for one, it's the #1 oil that's going to give you the most bubbles. It's not an oil out here right now on planet Earth that will give you more bubbles than a coconut oil and a soap, for one. For two, a body wash is a rinse-off product. Now, I just started putting it in my shea butter and my sugar scrubs. Sugar scrub is a rinse-off product, but the shea butter is in a very low percentage. So it depends on how you use it. A lot of young women were using it at very high amounts, and that's why I was drying their customer skins out. As I was even sharing with Sean one day about the turmeric soap with the hyaluronic acid, I actually was about to come out with my own, but then there was a lot of problems with it because a lot of young ladies were selling it rapidly using Melt and Pour. Melt and Pour is a soap that was made with lye, just like this. It's a clear soap base or a white soap base that is used. And dang, I took it over to the garage. I use Melt and Pour, but I use them for my embeds. Embeds are the little designs that you put on the top of the soaps. So if you pull up Indulgence Bath and Cosmetics on Google, Indulgence Bath and Cosmetics, you will see my former website, and you'll see my Valentine's Day soap, and you'll see those lips and the chocolate on there. That is made with Melt and Pour. That was the reason that Melt and Pour was invented. Melt and Pour was never invented for us to use as soap on our bodies. It was never made for that. It was only made to make embeds, to make your soaps look pretty. That's it. And so a lot of these girls that did not want to use lye because they was afraid of using lye, and I understand them being afraid. You have to be very cautious because it's very caustic. It is very, very caustic. And so I understand, they was afraid of using a lye soap, or they might have lived in conditions where they couldn't use lye soap. However, if you're going to use Melt and Pour, you also have to label your bar soaps as saying that you're using Melt and Pour, because for one, Melt and Pour is technically not a soap because it doesn't go through it doesn't fit all the criteria to be listed technically as a soap. And so, but you can use it as embeds, and you do not have to label it on your labels as being Melt and Pour embeds. So that's where the difference come in, because you're making soap. So like, for example, if I had if I made little honeycombs and I made those out of Melt and Pour, and I made them like a yellowish brown, I could have put that in this soap, and I could have just labeled this as oatmeal soap. I wouldn't have had to put the Melt and Pour embeds legally to still be in compliance. However, if I'm going to make a full soap and I'm selling it the next day, you can best believe the reason why they don't talk about the cure time is because people just want the money. So let me explain this to you. This soap will be ready to come out the mold. It has to sit in the mold for 12 to 18 hours before I can take it out. That's when it'll be hard enough to be able to demold it. Once I demold it, I have to cut it right away. If I sold that soap to you right away, you know what's going to happen when you use it? When the water activates that soap or hits that soap, that lye is going to activate. And what's going to happen is your skin is going to burn. You're going to have lesions on your skin. Why? Because I sold that soap before it was ready. Which is why we have a curing time anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks technically, depending on your formulation. Now, liquid soap can take even longer depending on your formulation. And if you're doing a bar soap, which just simply olive oil, technically that takes a year, but it can be sold in a minimum of 6 months. It's just that soap is not going to last you only but a few days because the soap is going to be very soft. And once that water hits it, although it will be safe to use, it's going to be slimy and it's going to start melting at a rapid pace. So it really, problem is people don't take the time to do their research. They just hear that small business owners are making certain things and they're like, oh, I want to do that, so I'm going to make it, and not really do the proper study on what to do. Another thing is they don't look on the different websites, the government websites, that we're required to follow. We're required to put certain things on our labels. We're required to put certain things on our websites. And you're required to follow certain rules and regulations, and they don't. And this is why I built my page this way, Soini, because I wanted people to see that I am running an authentic business. Because there's so many businesses, so many people out here running these quote unquote small businesses, and I don't like to use that term because I feel like that term just stagnates your business. But the problem is that so many people out here just making all these products and putting them out there, and because they got a whole bunch of following and they can sell stuff really fast, that's what they're doing. But they're not taking the time to really do any research. Their research is going to YouTube and watching some videos, and that's it. They're not looking on the government websites. I'll share this quick story with you. I was sharing with Sean that I had a friend, and right before I moved, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to start adding spell candles because I already made candles. I have been making candles for, I don't know, so many years. I've been at it because it's called Indulgence Bath and Cosmetics. What do people like to put on a tub when they're in the bathroom? Candles. So candles was one of the things I was making anyway. And so I said, I think I'm going to add spell candles because I was already making my own anyway. And so she said, oh, I was thinking about making them too. And I was like, no, you wasn't, because we've been friends now for 6 months. You never mentioned making candles. I knew immediately that wasn't true. And I said, so she said, yeah, I'm going to buy my stuff off of Amazon. And so I could start selling my stuff on the website next week. And I said, hold on. You can't sell candles next week. It's impossible. Because there's a process into making candles. And that first process is called educating yourself. Second of all, that second process is called testing phases. And then the third process is called testing phase again. And see, the thing about it is that the testing phase can last anywhere from technically up to 6 months. So, it's like there's no way you can buy a kit off of Amazon, melt some wax, pour it, put some fragrance oil in it, and stick it in, put the wick in it, and sell it the next day. Because guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a customer who's going to call you and say they had a fire. I kid you not. I told Sean within a couple of weeks, she had a customer that called her and said the candle exploded. Exploded. Because one thing you have to do is you have to know what size wick to use to the jars that you're using. Oh, you remember? Oh, see, yeah, you remember that, Soini? So yeah, so there's a lot to even when it comes to making these products. In order for me to sell this oatmeal soap, I had to test that first. I had to make it, I had to let it cure, and I had to test it. And guess who was the test on me? Because that means I had to use the soap. Because I had to see how the soap performed. Now, mind you, that soap actually had fragrance in it. No color, but it had fragrance in it. I had to see how that soap performed. because it's not enough for you just to make something. You have to test everything that you make before you can sell it. And that's the problem. No one wants to go through the testing phase, because why the testing phase take too long, and all they're thinking about is that they want to make the money right away. That's why. That's why. So again, this soap will be available. It is an oatmeal soap. The main ingredients in here, for anybody who has, this soap is good for anybody who has like eczema, psoriasis, dry skin. Testing is the absolute key, Sean. Like, I just don't understand. It is, what do you mean, Soini, you're worrying about the oils because of a possible reaction? What do you mean by that? Explain that more, please. Testing is definitely the key. And that, like I said, that's the phase that people don't want to do, because first and foremost, the testing phase could be very expensive, because that means you're buying products upon products upon products just to make, ingredients to make products to test it on yourself. And you're sitting here looking like, oh, that's money down the drain. But it's not. It's so that you can be in compliance with the government. Because like I told her, that girl could have easily contacted the government and said, you're blowing up my, I'm probably going to make some more soap when I get off live. Anyway, I'm probably going to just make the turmeric soap. She can easily contact the government and say, I brought this candle from this girl. My candle blew up. It's that simple. And the thing about it is that another thing I do want you guys, if you're going to start a business, please look at what type of insurance you have to have. Please look at the insurance. Because like I was trying to explain to a young lady, if you have a candle business and you have other businesses, you have to have 2 different insurance policies for that. Because the candle company, they only insure candles. That's it. They won't insure nothing else. Now, there are other craft insurances out there that will insure other things within the craft world. However, meaning any cosmetics in the crafting world, but candle insurance will not cover anything other than candle, and cosmetic insurance will not cover candle because they're not legally able to. Those are 2 different insurance policies. And you want them in the event that someone decides they want to sue you, which is also important to have an LLC so they can sue the LLC. But any more questions? I hope y'all enjoyed the live, and I hope you learned something on how to make soap. I will make some more soaps on live. I'll go live more often making some more soaps as well, because I was asked to hold on, I didn't finish reading. Hold on, Soini. Yes. Oh my God, Soini, I actually forgot that. One thing for sure, when you're making soap is one of those products that your measurements have to absolutely unequivocally be on point. And what's so interesting is I wrote out a sheet too before I went live, and I forgot. And the interesting thing, that was like point number 3. And I forgot to take it off the printer. I forgot to grab it off the printer, and I didn't want to get up and get it. But when it comes to making soap, whether you're making bar soap or liquid soap, when it comes to soaping, if you do not have your measurements on point, that is dangerous. That's the only way I can explain it. Now, let's say, oh yeah, and I meant to pull it out so you can see it. I didn't like the way it came out, but I'm going to show you. I did drink a little bit yesterday, but I'm going to show you, because remember, coffee bucha is new. I'm used to making kombucha, but remember, the coffee one is new. So I'm going to try it again. I'm not going to give up on that. That was just test number 1. So I'm not going to say it was a fail, because it's not a fail and when it comes to kombucha, but it's not where I want it to be. Excuse me, you guys. Excuse me. Excuse me. I do still have a little bit of mucus in me. Anyway, now say for example, let's say, and I'm just going to round the numbers off because the numbers are never round, except for if it's like 4.2. But say, for example, your water calls for 9 ounces of water, and your lye calls for, let's say, 5 ounces of lye. If your water is 8.97 or 9.03, that's okay. But your lye, if your lye says 5 ounces, you better make sure that bad buddy is 5 ounces. And the reason why your water can be over or under is technically a little bit, it's really a good thing. And the reason why under is a good thing is because that's actually going to make for a harder bar, because you're basically discounting your water. So that's not a bad thing. Over is actually worse than being a little under, because over means you're adding more water to your bar, which is going to make your bar softer, and it's going to take longer to harder, and it's it's going to make it not last as long in your customer's shower. So if you can't get your scale to be exactly at 9 ounces, you're better off doing 8.97 ounces versus like 9.03 ounces. So that's where you can have some wiggle room. You can't have no wiggle room with that lye. That lye better be on point. When you're doing your oils and your butters, they have to be on point. Reason being is because once that lye comes in contact with the oil, if your oils are not emulsified, you're going to have what is called lye spots. And oh man, I'm gonna try to find out. I think I still have some bars over in the garage. I'm gonna see if I have. I might have threw them away before we moved. But if not, Google lye spots. And what it is, you'll see little bumps and stuff on the soap. That means the lye did not saponify. There's a process called saponification. And that means that lye did not saponify. That means that lye didn't mix together well. That water in that lye solution wasn't, that lye solution was off. And when you blended it together, and when you put them oils in there, it didn't bind. Because what happens is the calculator is going to tell you exactly how much oil and, how much water and how much lye you need for the amount of oils that you've chosen. So I'll show you quickly. Now I printed this off. I'm going to cover up my recipe, but this is a lye calculator. Okay? This gives you an example. Hope you can see it. Hope it's not too close and it's not blurry. That's a lye calculator. Okay? So where my hand is my actual products and stuff. And I've actually covered up the wrong place, but it's fine. Anyway, what you do is you put in your oils and butters you want to use, and you tell the calculator what's the percentage of each one that you want to use. And once you do that, the calculator will actually calculate it for you. And it'll tell you how much of each of the oils you want to use, how much lye and water. You want to use exactly what that calculator says. You definitely do not want to go over on the oils as well, because what happens is in the end, after saponification happens, your oils that did not bind to the lye, that's what saponification is the oils binding to the lye. And you'll be able to tell that your recipe was off because there'll be oil sitting on top. So remember when I was stick blending, I showed you how there was no oil sitting on top of my recipe, which means is that I had an exact recipe and that my measurements was on point. Yes. So, okay. So we'll do a live. How about this on Monday then? We'll take some time Monday and I'll just create a basic recipe on live, and I'll just figure out, I'll call Sean and bug Sean. Everybody else did it, so I might as well do it now. I'll call Sean and have her show me how to set up the camera so I'll set myself up so I can show y'all. And what I'll do is I'll show you how to use the soap calculator. Absolutely, unequivocally, you should not be making bar soap or liquid soap without using that soap calculator unless you are experienced. Now, I can do a formula without the calculator because I've been doing it such a long time. But because I hadn't made soap in over a year, I was like, I'm pulling this calculator out today. And it's on Google. It's called Soap Calc or Soap Calculator. And you can Google it. It should come up as the first one, but make sure that it is a soap calculator. I'll do a post showing you exactly which one and the link so that Okay, Sean, thank you. And so that you can pull it up and we can go along with it. Matter of fact, I'll try to do StreamYard also, so that way people can come up. I'll do that because I do have StreamYard. I do have a StreamYard account. I don't. That's why I said I wish I thought about it today. I could have used it today. But I'll go live on StreamYard on Monday because I'm gonna go live every Monday and Thursday like I was in the beginning, and that way I can show you how to use Soap Calculator so that you can start making your own soaps at home as well. It is not as hard. You don't have to be afraid of using lye. It's just a matter of safety. That's all. It's a matter of safety. I was afraid the first time, but I did a lot of research before I made that first bar. And actually, I made liquid, and they said that was the worst. They said you should never start with liquid, and because they said you shouldn't, Kim always have to do what they say don't do. So I was like, well, if you said liquid's the hardest, that's what I'm going to start with. And they wasn't lying. It was harder. Because like I said, making liquid soap is more than one process. And so we'll make some liquid soaps as well. Because like I said, I do make a lot of my base soaps. And I am really low. So I do need to make some liquid soap. So maybe Thursday we'll do a liquid soap. But yeah. And but also keep in mind that lye does expire like anything else. Meaning that it will lose its potency. So if it gets to the point that it loses its potency, I wouldn't use it for soap, but you can still use it for your drain or your toilets and things of that nature. It'll still be strong enough for that, but it definitely will not be strong enough for soap. So you want to make sure that you do not have your soaps, your lye that long. Whenever you buy it, if it doesn't have the expiration date on here, which this one don't, but Essential Depot, I tell everybody, do not, you can buy that, what is called Red Devil, I think it is. You can buy that, and it does make soap because it's lye. It's simply lye. But if you want something that's ethically sourced, only buy your lye from Essential Depot. They're now on Amazon. That is one of the products I'll tell you, go to Amazon. They're not Prime, so it does take about a week to week and a half to get your lye. So you would actually need to get your lye a little sooner. It takes about the same. It takes a little less if you buy from the website, but it is more if you buy from the website versus buying it off of Amazon. But they are now on Amazon. I guess they finally figured they needed to go on there. But with that being said, if there is no more questions, we're going to go ahead and end. Like I said, this soap will be available in 4 weeks. So I did formulate it to be available in 4 versus the 6 weeks. I'll do a cutting of the soap. I'll show you how to cut it. I don't bevel my soaps like a lot of people do. Beveling means you're just, oh gosh. Little, but we do get a lot of beetles. I got to put my zapper back up. Beveling just means you're rounding off the bars of soap. Some people think it's more aesthetically pleasing. I purposely don't. Soaps you buy in the stores, if you buy a bar of soap, it's beveled, and people use those scraps to make other soaps. I don't typically like to bevel my soaps, so I don't really bevel them. But I'll do a video on soap cutting. I may do that as a premiere, I'm not sure. And I'll show you the cutting of the soap, but it still will not be ready for 4 weeks from today. I'm assuming 4 weeks from tomorrow, because today does not count because it has to sit in a mold. So once I unmold it, it's 4 weeks from the date that you unmold it. So, and it'll be available on the website. With that being said, again, don't forget to go to my website. It is www.copyahoocollections.com. These scrubs will be on the website either tonight or tomorrow. The body butters will go up on there the day after that because I had some equipment failure, so that's why I had to pause because my scale went out and I had to quickly hurry up and buy another scale. I don't know what's going on with that thing, but it is like 8-9 years old. It's old, and so it done me well. So I'm a little slow. I wanted everything on there by the 1st, but that is the reason why I was unable to get everything on there right away. So I was up last night finally getting everything together. So all my bases are done. I just have to now separate everything and scent it and color it so I can get the pictures and get it on the website. And so I'm a one-woman show, so please bear with me, have patience with me. I thank you for coming in and joining me again. I know I was away for a while because I went a little less than 30 days home to be with my first grandbaby, for the birth of my first grandbaby. So now I'm back. I'm feeling good. I'm in the swing of things. Remember, I was sick when I came back. So I am here now. So Mondays and Thursdays, meet me back here again. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Turn the notification bells on so you know when I go live or post a video. And I will see you on Monday. Bye.